This video will show you how to set up a user journey using the Campaign Builder module by setting up a series of emails and SMS messages that trigger based on user behavior and date variables. First, let's have a look at the emails that we've configured. We have a welcome email that we want to trigger to all new teachers, so when a new teacher enters our program, they are welcomed with this email. We have a second email that we want to send 3 days after the welcome email has been sent, just notifying new teachers of the assessment for educators and asking them to register for the program. Then 1 week later, we want to trigger this Become a Certified Educational Assessor email with more information on the program and also a call to action asking teachers to register. You'll notice there's a View Workshops link in this email. For teachers who click on that link, we want to trigger a second follow-up email that has more information on workshops. As soon as they click that View Workshops link, then they are going to be sent this email, which has more information on workshops. It's very targeted and relevant information to the user. Then finally, we want to trigger a third email which notifies teachers of the consultancy program and asks them to get in touch if they have any questions. Let's see how we trigger setup and trigger these emails in the Campaign Builder. First of all, you'll notice we have an email on the left-hand side called IEA Welcome. That is the first welcome email that we looked at. Off of that email, you can see we have 3 triggers set up. One here, which is to send an email 2 days later, one here, which is to send an email 7 days later, and one here, which is to send an email 14 days later or 2 weeks later. The first email that we're going to trigger is when this welcome email is sent. Then 2 days later, trigger this assessment email. That was the first trigger email that we looked at. Then you can see 7 days after this welcome email has been sent, then trigger this educational assessors email. Finally, we have the last trigger, which is after this welcome email has been sent. 14 days later, send this consultancy email. You can see these 3 branches that are branching off. They are actually the triggers that are sending the next communication, which can be an email or an SMS message. These pink circles with the 0 inside show the number of contacts that have flowed to that trigger. You're able to keep track of where people are in the state of your user journey. Now you can set up triggers based on multiple things. In this case, the welcome email that we've set up date triggers so that other emails are being sent off dates, but you can also set it up to trigger off behaviors. For example, when this first trigger email is sent 2 days after the welcome email, we can actually set up a behavioral trigger which states that if this trigger email goes unopened, then 3 days later, send this SMS. If the person hasn't read this email, we can actually trigger an SMS message to be sent to them. And in this case, we're notifying them that we've sent them an important email and that they should have a look at it in their inbox. There are other behavioral elements that you can use as well, like clicks, didn't click open, didn't open, etc. Then down here we have another behavioral email. This is the second trigger email, which was issued 7 days or 1 week after the welcome email. This has a trigger on it, so that anyone who clicks that View Workshops link that we looked at earlier, that then issues. You can see it triggers set issues immediately. That issues this third email, which is the email that includes information about the upcoming workshops. Finally, we have the last trigger email, which was set up to trigger 2 weeks after the welcome email. Now, if you wanted to, you could set up additional triggers. You could have as many triggers as you want attached to the original welcome emails so that you continue to send emails maybe over the course of a year, for example. If you've set up a nurturing program or planned out your user journey that includes multiple touch points throughout the course of the year, then you can set those all up. You can set up the emails in an email composer, and then once that's been done, you can set up the triggers here and build even more user journeys and user flows for your contacts to flow through.